Understanding why men detest mind games is like trying to explain why cats fear vacuum cleaners. It's complicated but undeniably amusing. Let's take a comedic safari into the jungle of dating. First off, men are notorious for not reading instruction manuals. Picture this, a brand new gadget arrives, and where does the manual end up? Yep, you guessed it, in the trash. Now translate this scenario to the dating world. The complex manual of dating mind games becomes a befuddling mystery to most men. They're like tourists lost in a foreign city without a map, trying to find their way through the maze of unspoken rules, mixed signals, and silent expectations. They're used to straightforward instructions like, insert tab A into slot B, not decode her cryptic text, interpret her subtle body language, and navigate through a labyrinth of emotions. So when it comes to mind games, they're already at a loss. It's not that they're unwilling to learn, it's just that the concept is as alien as speaking a new language overnight. And in the end, they're left scratching their heads, wondering how to assemble this mind-boggling puzzle without any clear instructions. Ever notice smoke coming out of a man's ears during a date? No, it's not passion. It's a sign that his mental processor is running on overdrive, much like an old computer trying to keep up with the latest high-definition, action-packed video games. You see, when men are faced with the complex emotional puzzles that often come with dating, their brains can overheat. The gears start turning, the circuits start buzzing, and before you know it, smoke signals are practically billowing out from their ears. But don't be mistaken, this isn't a sign of romantic fervor. It's more akin to an old desktop computer chugging away, trying to render a cinematic masterpiece on a system built for word processing. Just like that old computer, men's brains can struggle with the intricacies of emotional nuance and deciphering mixed signals. The smoke coming out of their ears is not from passion, it's their processors burning out from overuse. Men often mistake dating for an adventure game where X marks the spot. It's a misconception as old as time, or at least as old as the first dating advice column. They envision themselves as gallant adventurers, armed with a rusty shovel of charm and a tattered map of pickup lines ready to unearth the treasure of a woman's heart. But alas, dating is not a straightforward adventure game. There's no golden treasure chest filled with the spoils of love, no jubilant fanfare as they dig up the prize. Instead, they find themselves knee-deep in a quagmire of emotional context, submerged in a swamp of mixed signals. They're not unearthing treasure, they're excavating layers of feelings, each one more complex and perplexing than the last. They're trying to decode cryptic messages like, "It's fine and do whatever you want." These phrases, seemingly simple on the surface, are often loaded with hidden meanings that could stump even the most seasoned linguist. And the real kicker? The treasure they're tirelessly searching for, the elusive X on their tattered map, usually turns out to be an argument about something they did 6 months ago. It's like reaching the end of a grueling dungeon crawl, only to find a boss battle waiting for you. So, gentlemen, keep your shovels at the ready. You never know when you'll need to dig yourself out of an emotional pitfall. Spoiler alert, the treasure is usually an argument about something they did 6 months ago. At the end of the day, men long for simplicity. They crave a world where the nuances of conversation don't resemble a cryptic crossword puzzle, but rather a simple game of connect the dots. Picture a place where "I'm fine" is not a loaded statement, but a genuine expression of contentment. In this world, "I'll remember this during your next birthday" isn't a veiled threat, but an actual reminder for a gift. Imagine a universe where decoding the mysteries of the female mind doesn't require a degree in cryptography, where the emotional landscape is not a labyrinth of hidden meanings, but a straightforward path to understanding. Men yearn for a love language that's not riddled with subtext, but clear and concise. They dream of a communication style that's less "figure out this cryptic puzzle" and more point and click. They desire a dialogue that's as easy to comprehend as their favorite video game, without the need for multiple attempts or cheat codes. Men often feel like amateur detectives in the crime drama of dating mind games. They're constantly handed a magnifying glass and a mystery, expected to unearth the truth hidden beneath layers of coded language and subtle gestures. Picture a man, mentally donning his deerstalker hat, trying to decipher the cryptic language of love. Imagine the scene. She said she didn't want anything for her birthday. A seemingly innocent statement, but in the detective's mind, alarm bells are ringing. He pauses, pondering over the potential implications. But does she really mean it, or is this a test? He wonders. The dilemma is real, the stakes are high, and the clues are as clear as a foggy London morning. Now let's delve deeper into the psyche of our hapless detective. He's not just deciphering words but also navigating the labyrinth of emotions. A small change in tone, a slight shift in mood, and bam! He's lost in translation, trying to crack the Da Vinci Code of dating. And it's not just about understanding her, it's also about expressing himself without causing confusion or misunderstanding. It's a delicate balancing act, like walking a tightrope over a pit of misinterpretation. One wrong step, one misjudged word, and he might plunge into the abyss of an argument or worse, the silent treatment. It's like Sherlock Holmes but with more anxiety and less impressive deductions. In this game, the detective often feels out of his depth, equipped with a flashlight in a room full of mirrors, where every clue leads to another riddle. Yet, he persists, hoping that one day, he'll crack the case and finally understand the enigma that is the female mind. Despite rumors, most men haven't mastered the art of mind reading. Now, wouldn't that be a handy skill to have in the dating game? Imagine being able to understand the depths of your partner's thoughts, fears, and desires without uttering a word. But alas, most men are still waiting for that software update. The one that will allow them to do a Vulcan mind meld and finally understand what it means when she says, "Nothing's wrong," with that very specific tone of voice. So, they're stuck in an emotional version of dial-up internet, while the women in their lives are streaming in high-definition emotional 4K. This isn't to say that men are emotionally inept, not at all. It's just that their emotional operating system is a bit more, let's say, old school. Like a vintage computer running on Windows 95, it does the job, but it might take a little longer to process complex emotional data. So, while men are waiting for their emotional software to update, what do? They prefer conversations that are as straightforward and clear as a sunny day. They long for a communication style that's free from the risk of misunderstanding. A style where "I'm upset" means "I'm upset," not "you should know why I'm upset." Until then, they prefer conversations where the chances of misunderstanding are as low as the odds of finding a phone charger that lasts a lifetime. Because let's face it, in the world of dating, a little clarity can go a long way. The guessing game of what she really means or wants is as confusing to men as why we need to take 10 different vitamins a day. Just as we ponder why we have to juggle a cocktail of vitamins when we could be relishing a cocktail of our favorite drink instead, men find themselves wrestling with the enigma of deciphering the true meaning behind a woman's words. Just as we question, why do I need vitamin D when I could just bask in the sunlight? Men wonder, why can't she just say what she really means? It's a game of mental gymnastics that leaves them feeling more like they've run a marathon than enjoyed a leisurely game of chess. It's like standing in front of a pharmacy aisle, overwhelmed by the rainbow of vitamin bottles, each promising a different benefit. Similarly, each decoded message from a woman promises a different outcome in the dating game. "Just tell me what pill to take" is akin to their dating mantra. The constant fear of misinterpreting a signal is real. Just like the daunting task of deciphering a cryptic crossword puzzle, men often find themselves lost in the labyrinth of emotional cues and subtle hints. Each signal, each word, each glance is like a new tab opened in the browser of their minds. As they keep opening these tabs, trying to make sense of every signal, they start feeling overwhelmed. It's like having a computer with too many tabs open. Every new tab consumes a little more of the processing power, slowing down the system, making it harder to function efficiently. And the fear, the constant nagging fear of misinterpreting a signal, makes it even worse. It's like watching the spinning wheel of death on your computer, knowing that a crash is imminent, but not knowing when it will strike. A man's brain, when faced with the enigma of mind games, is like a computer with too many tabs open. It eventually crashes, often at the most inconvenient times. So, there you have it. The real reason why men hate mind games in dating is not because they're unsolvable, but because men are wired for simplicity. They're like basic cable. When you start adding premium channels, they just can't keep up. Remember, in the game of love, it's not about winning. It's about playing a game that both of you understand the rules to, or at least finding a happy medium somewhere between Clue and Candyland.